Good evening, students. How are you? Shakti Raj, good evening. Sorry, let's wait for a minute so that others can also join. Then we'll resume. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. How is everyone doing? Chanu, good evening. How are things in Manipur? Okay, I understand. Good evening, VL. Shall we start or should we wait for a minute also? Shakti Raj, calm down. Calm down, Shakti Raj. I'll take your opinion on this topic whenever I cover this, okay? One thing, please remember, everyone, not just goes for Shakti Raj. Whenever you're in the presence of seniors and elders, na, speak only at the time when you're spoken to. Otherwise, okay? Got this, everyone? Now let us talk about this. UNESCO's new virtual museum of stolen objects. What do you think whenever I tell you about stolen objects? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Whenever I talk about stolen objects, have you seen this meme? Has anyone seen this meme? Why do you think pyramids are still there in Egypt? Because these are too big for Britishers to transport them back to UK. Where is our Kohinoor diamond? Where is our Kohinoor diamond? In the crown. Where is the crown kept? In UK. So don't you think there should be certain mechanism for us to be able to have our stolen heritage back in our country? Now we have already covered UNESCO. Can anyone tell me where is UNESCO headquartered? We have already covered UNESCO when the new chief was appointed. Where is UNESCO headquartered? In London? In Paris? Yes, good Chanu. Now UNESCO has launched a new virtual museum of stolen cultural objects. Now, what do you think this museum would help in? Forget about all the other facts. If we start any virtual museum of stolen objects, what do you think is the intention of establishing this museum? Can anyone tell me? Whenever we deal with stolen objects, we require few things. We require acknowledgement that yes, some of our cultural heritage have been stolen. You also need awareness among people that yes, there are certain heritage which we don't possess, which someone has taken illegally. You also need Dialogue. Why do you need dialogue between nations for? Anyone? Students? Hello, Shri Kalyan, Rishi, Santana, Sai Kalyan, sorry. Not strengthen ties. We need dialogue. Suppose we need dialogue between India and UK. Ki bhai, you have taken so many of our things, how you are going to return us back? And after that, the most important thing we need is repatriation. What is repatriation? Sending those stolen objects back to us. So don't you think this museum would help in these three kind of activities? First of all, whenever in a global scale, some of our objects must be kept there virtually, although it would help us make our people aware that these are the many objects that have been kept somewhere. It would help countries who have stolen it acknowledge, and also they might sometimes even apologize to us. It will also help in dialogue between the countries. How can you send our heritage back to us? Agree all on all of this fact? Purpose समझ आ गया? What is the purpose of this kind of an institution or this kind of an establishment? Any doubt up till now? Now let us deal with few facts relating to this museum. First of all, this is a virtual museum. So it is providing an interactive digital platform that would display stolen or missing cultural artifacts from across the world and nearly 240 stolen objects from 46 countries, including India's Nataraj sculpture and Brahma sculpture from Mahadev temple in Pali, Chhattisgarh will be kept there. And this museum has been designed by him and it resembles a baobab tree. Has anyone seen a baobab tree? This is a tree of African origin. Let me show it to you. This is the baobab tree. Okay. What do you think this tree signifies? Anyone? What do you think this tree might signify, or what does any tree signify? Tree signifies protection, right? The umbrella of the tree provides protection. So this is why there is a symbolic importance of this baobab tree. It signifies strength, community, right? Now, there are important conventions of UNESCO that India is a member to. So please write it down. What are major conventions of UNESCO? First is a 1954. First is a 1954 Hague Convention. Write it down what it deals with. Hague Convention of 1954. It ensures protection of cultural heritage, during conflict, during armed conflict. What this convention says, that countries who are signatory of these conventions during an armed conflict, they won't destroy other parties' protected heritage, right? Similarly, there is 1970 convention which prohibits and combats illicit trafficking of cultural property. So this is a convention which prohibits and combats illicit trafficking of cultural property. Are you writing this down, guys? I'm not writing 1970 on the board. I'll ask you later. Then there is 1972. 1972 World Heritage Convention. 1972 World Heritage Convention. It protects cultural and natural heritage. It protects cultural and natural heritage of outstanding value. Write it in inverted commas. Of outstanding value. Then there is 2003 convention on safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. Intangible cultural heritage. Don't worry, Veera Pandian, you can write it later on, but please do write it. Do not skip it. This is important, okay? That is why I'm making you guys write it. How many times do I make something, or do I make you write something? Not very frequently, right? Of outstanding universal value. Outstanding universal value. Value, not valley. Now, out of these 4 conventions that I've made you write, which one do you think is applicable in this virtual museum of stolen objects? And India is a signatory of all these 4 conventions that's why I've made you write it. Not 1954. 1970. What did 1970 convention say? Tell me. It prohibits and combats. It prohibits and combats what? Illicit trafficking of cultural property. Yes. So that is applicable here. Understood? Any doubts? Now, have you heard blue flag certification, anyone? While reading your environment lectures, have you heard what is a blue flag certification? We are moving to different topic now. What is blue flag certification? किसको देते हैं blue flag certification? Blue flag certification is given to beaches. Yes, Karishma, good. How many of you have seen sea by your own eyes? How many of you have seen sea by your own eyes? Okay, Karishma. Well, people who haven't seen sea by your own eyes, please do once in your life. I'm going to tell you something which you will all agree with. Now, what is sea? Sea is basically boundless, limitless, very big body of water. So when you stand in front of your sea, you'll realize that humans, irrespective of their achievements, irrespective of their money, wealth, power, they are very small in front of a sea. So this kind of a sense is very important in order to keep you grounded, in order to keep humility inside you. Right? So having said that, let us start the blue flag certification. Which body provides this certification? It is an NGO called as Foundation for Environmental Education. This is an NGO. Okay. Now this was founded in 1981. Where is it headquartered? Copenhagen, Denmark. So the thing that I told you about major NGOs, UN related bodies, they are always headquartered in developed countries in very beautiful places. They are never going to be headquartered in small cities of say developing countries or underdeveloped countries. Okay. Now what this body does, it first of all promotes environmental education and awareness. It supports UN Sustainable Development Goals. It develops and implements international programs focused on environment, climate action and sustainability, and it also actively collaborates with UN agencies. It has 99 member organizations from 77 countries. So is it an intergovernmental body? No. It is a body which gives recognitions to other NGOs. Okay. Now, what is important are the key programs. First important key program is Blue Flag Program. It certifies beaches, marinas and sustainable boating operators based on 33 criteria which covers, no need to remember, cleanliness, water quality, safety and environmental management. So what do you think? What kind of beaches will be given as a Blue Flag certification? Tell me. What kind of beaches would be given Blue Flag certification? Do you think urban beaches, which are very crowded, which have lots of commercial activities going on there, will they be given Blue Flag certification? No, right? Rural beaches, secluded beaches, which are clean, which are serene, right? Those kind of beaches will be given there. And why is it given? To promote sustainable coastal tourism. Yes, coastal tourism is essential, but you have to ensure that this tourism is not destroying the environment or the ecology of the beaches, right? It also starts or provides a eco school program which focuses on environmental education and sustainable practices in school. It empowers students to take actions on issues like waste management, energy use, biodiversity, and it contributes directly to education and sustainable development program. Now, one thing that I want to share it with you is, are the schools in Japan. You know, before the end of the day in schools in Japan, the students are themselves made to clean the entire classrooms. And you know why this habit is essential in school going students? Right at the very starting of their school going life. That activity in Japan is called as 5S activity. It promotes civic sense. And see, the level of education in Japan is that it is inbraining or it is embedding this kind of skills very early in their life. So students understand the importance of cleanliness right at the start of their schooling life. And eventually when the student would grow up as an adult, he would ensure cleanliness everywhere he goes to. So Japan in general is a very clean country. Why? Because of imbibing of civic sense. In India also, we keep our houses clean, but I can't say the same with public areas, right? You won't throw anything in your own house, but there's a possibility that you might eat a chewing gum and throw away straight away the wrapper if you're in a public place. Well, I know about Japan, but I don't know about Korea and China. But I guess similar kind of a practices is also followed in many countries. It should follow in India also, according to me. There is also a learning about forest. It promotes awareness and understanding of forest, trees and ecosystems. Green Key program is also very important. Green Key program is a eco-label certification for hotels, resorts, restaurants and tourism facilities, so that tourism itself remains sustainable. Do we need this Green Key program in India, specifically somewhere? Can you recall? In Himalayan states, right? Tourism pressure is quite high in Himalayan states, and because of that, people having less civic sense, they go visit these states, but they destroy or they make it dirty, right? So these are the important programs of the FEE. Okay? Any doubts up till now? Any doubts up till now? Harshita, VL, Pooja. No, it is not annual, or whenever they meet the requirement, they submit this request to FEE. FEE provides them with the certification. So this is not like UPSC will have to fill the form manually. Now, Operation Golden Sweep. The DRI, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, has recently arrested 13 people for smuggling gold under Operation Gold Sweep. Now, whenever gold is being smuggled into India, what is the problem, do you think? Why is this organization arresting people for smuggling gold? Why do you think? Don't tell me it is a illegal offense. I know that. But why is it an illegal offense? How many of you seen people have eaten a gold? They have inserted their gold in the rectum just to hide it. No, they are not paying taxes. That is why they are being arrested. Tax evasion it is called, not tax avoidance. Tax avoidance means you're using legal ways to reduce your taxable burden. Tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. Right? Evading taxes. What does DRI do? It falls under Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, Ministry of Finance. So if you enter into IRS, indirect taxes, then you are going to be in DRI also. This is an apex anti-smuggling intelligence and enforcement agencies headquartered in Delhi. Right? Now what it does? It detects and prevents smuggling of goods, narcotics, fake Indian currency, gold. It collects, analyzes and disseminates intelligence and gives it to customs officials, right? And it also works closely with Indian intelligence agencies, Indian investigative agencies, as well as the international agencies like Interpol. Understood? How many of you want to join IRS, Indian Revenue Services? चलो अपना first preferences बताओ. What is your first preference of service? You're going to fill that in DF2 form. Not IPS Shaktiraj. Oh, VL, good IPS, good Pooja IPS, Veera IFS. By IFS, I'm assuming foreign service, not forest service. Well, if you are IRS in IT department, in income indirect taxes department, you are going to also go in DRI. For IFS people, I have something today. Very important article that I am going to discuss. Okay? That is why I asked this question. Now you know what is Durand line? Have you heard Durand line? Where is Durand line? Not India, Afghanistan. It was India, Afghanistan. Now it is Pakistan and Afghanistan border. What is India and Pakistan border called? Which line is it called? Radcliffe line. What is India's boundary with China called? What is India's boundary with China called? Now, India and Pakistan boundary are divided into two parts. International boundary and LOC. LOC is in the territory of Kashmir. An international boundary between India and Pakistan is in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, as well as Jammu. You know the difference between these two terms? Anyone? I'm going to come to China. First, tell me the difference between international boundary and LOC. International boundary is the boundary which both India and Pakistan agree upon. LOC is the boundary which these two countries don't agree upon. This is a disputed line. This does not show international boundary, it shows line of control. Right? Why is LOC not an international boundary? What is India's boundary according to India? The entire Jammu and Kashmir region, including what is POK right now, including what is Gilgit and Baltistan right now. Understood this term? And even the boundary between India and Bangladesh is also called as Radcliffe Line. Now let me tell you the boundary between India and China. Now the entire boundary of India and China is called as line of actual control, LAC. Why? The entire boundary between these two countries are not agreed upon. Suppose in the eastern sector, what India says that McMahon line is the boundary between India and China. McMahon line puts Arunachal in India. China does not agree with this. China says Arunachal Pradesh is a part of China. In eastern sector, that is called as McMahon line. In the western sector, India says that Johnson line is the boundary between India and China. Johnson line puts Aksai Chin region in India. And China says that McDonald line is the line. Because McDonald line puts Aksai Chin in China. Understood this? Central sector, both of these countries somewhat relatively agree upon the boundary, which is there in Uttarakhand and Himachal. So agree on this line. How I remember it? India likes Johnson and Johnson and China likes McDonald burgers. That is how I remember it. So the entire India and China border is not agreed upon. Any doubts? What is McMahon line? What is Johnson line? What is McDonald line? Yes, Pooja. India shares boundary with Afghanistan also. 120, 106 kilometers something. So Durand line is the boundary between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Understood now? All the lines. Now from India, you won't be able to see McDonald line because Google, in order to not be punished by Indian government, shows us what India's interpretation is. Let me show you on the map also. Give me a second, okay? Let me fire the Google Maps. So this is the international boundary up till here. After that, it becomes this line from here to here becomes LOC. Agree? Not this line. LOC is here. This is, which is this territory called? Anyone? LOC is this. This is what is India's boundary according to India. And this area, can anyone tell me? This is Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Similarly, what is this region called? This region is called as Aksai Chin. So tell me which is this line and which is this line. Let me change the color of the pen also. So what is this line and what is this line? Can anyone tell me? This one is called as McDonald line. And this one is called as Johnson line. समझ आ गया? Now, which is this line called? The one that I've highlighted right now in red. McMahon line. Yes. People living in Arunachal Pradesh are Indian, obviously. क्या होंगे नहीं तो वो? People living in Tamil Nadu, they are what? Veera Pandian? In Kashmir, yes, they are Indian. According to me, people living in Pakistan are also Indian. They have created a separate country. That does not mean, that does not make him Indian. They are misguided people. Understood now? McMahon line, McDonald line, Johnson line, LOC, international boundary. Now, whenever any important species is in news, what all characteristics do I tell you to remember? HHP. Right? So, we are going to talk about Indian wolf. For the first time, IUCN has assessed Indian wolf within the category of Canis genus. Indian wolf is found in semi-arid and grassland regions of India and Pakistan, and these states in India, 3 states, hold together 50% of total population of this species. So this was which characteristic? Habitats. Where is it available? In the semi-arid and grassland regions. Okay. Now let us discuss habits. What does it do? It is highly adaptable, lives in small packs. You know what is a pack of wolf? Wolf pack is it called? What do I mean when I say wolf pack? Group of wolves. Right? And they are primarily nocturnal. What are nocturnal species? night, species who are active during the night. So I can call students as nocturnal. Can I call students as nocturnal? How many of you are nocturnal? कौन रात में पढ़ता है? Good, Harshita. Can I say lovers are nocturnal? Can I say Batman is nocturnal? How many of you have seen Koi Mil Gaya? Is Jadoo nocturnal? Why? Because no dhoop. Right? Now coming back to our discussion, बहुत हो गया हंसी मजाक. This species breeds once a year. The pups are born in underground dens during winter and spring. And these are smaller and leaner as compared to their Himalayan or European cousins, and they have short light brown coats suited for arid climate. Why do animals need clothes? Why do animals need coating of coat or fur? For safety of cold. So if any species is living in semi-arid or grassland regions, do you think they need more coat or less fur or more fur? So evolutions would give them more fur or less fur? Less fur. So this is how you remember. If a species is available in colder climates, it would have more hair. And vice versa is also true. Right? Now, if a species is higher in presence, what do you think would be its protection status? If a species is 27 or 2800 in numbers, will it be critically endangered or will it be even endangered? No, it won't be critically endangered, not even endangered. This is plentiful number, so they will be vulnerable. Okay? And they are given highest protection status in Wildlife Protection Act. Yes, ASB, what is this dead people of family visiting your home? Do you mean Shraddh? But Shraddh to khatam ho gaya, I guess. Well, I'm forgetting the IUCN status of tigers. Can anyone Google what is the IUCN status of tigers? Is it vulnerable or endangered? I guess should be endangered. No, vulnerable, should be vulnerable. Tell me anyone. Can you Google it for me? Otherwise, I'll Google it right now. Tigers are endangered. Okay, but this is vulnerable. Please remember this. Now, how many of you have seen that video that I uploaded a few days back about Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve? How many of you see YouTube videos of English, StudyIQ IS English? Have you seen that video? Few days back I got it uploaded, Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve. No, right? So good, I will discuss it then. Now I was discussing about the latest recognition of of the UNESCO of the Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve, and the most important species in Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve, which is in Lahaul Spiti district of Himachal Pradesh. It is the snow leopard. So tell me, snow leopard would have more fur or less fur? More fur. Good. Good. Now, where is the known habitats of snow leopard? It is available in alpine and subalpine zones. Whenever I say about this zone, this means higher altitude. How much higher? 3000 to 4500 meters above sea level. Globally, it is present in India also, in the Himalayas, as well as eastern Afghanistan, Tibetan Plateau, Siberia, Mongolia, and western China. In India, where is it available? Ladakh in highest numbers, followed by Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, as well as Jammu and Kashmir. Right? India has about 10 to 15% of total. Okay? So these are habitats. Now let us talk about the habits of this species. It is called as ghost of mountains. Most important feature. It is these kind of predators, they are used to live alone. Right? Do you think lions live in a group? Do you think bears live in a group? Do you think tigers live in a group? The male species? Predators, apex predators, alphas, they live alone. Okay? And these predators have a territorial habit. They won't accept same species or same animal of same species living in their close vicinity. They'd fight for their territory. Right? Now, one most important thing that you'll have to remember about snow leopard is that they have very long and muscular tail. You know why? During absolute cold, they wrap around their tail around their body, which provides them with balance and warmth. Right? Well, Shakti Raj, that lion or that group of lions would have one male, few female lions and their children. There won't be more than one male in a particular group of Asiatic lions. They won't tolerate. Even the male tigers now, they sometimes would visit a group of female tigers for the reasons you know the best. But in normal times, they would live alone. And they are very territorial. Well, lions or any predator would be in a group only for mating purposes. Otherwise, they'd move out of the group. Now, let us come back to the what is the species we are discussing, everyone? Not African lion, not tigers. Which is the species? Snow leopard. So let us come back to snow leopard. It has excellent camouflage in rocky slopes. It can leap up to 9 meters, 6 times about its size. Like leopards, like cheetahs, they can't also roar. They produce hiss, growls and meows. And they are most active during which time of the day? During dusk and dawn. You know what is dusk and dawn? Dawn is morning, dusk is evening. And this is called as crepuscular behavior, okay? So these are the important traits that you have to remember, or the habits. What is the most important habit? Long and muscular tail, and also called as ghost of mountains. Okay? What is the conservation status? Vulnerable. Okay? Any doubts? Any doubts? Now this is very important. I was telling you about na IFS. I was telling you about na IFS. How many of you told me you wanted to get into IFS. Why do you want to get into IFS? Well, not. You don't need to remember. What is the accepted line called for China for Arunachal? What you have to remember is what is India's accepted line. India's accepted line in Arunachal is called as VL. VL, what is India's accepted line in Arunachal called? McMahon line. Good. What is this behavior, Harshita? You don't want to work in India. Don't use this line ever. Whatever, howsoever India is our home. And it is our duty to first put things in order in our home. Right? Do you abandon your home? Your home might be a mansion, your home might be a hut, but it is your home. Right? Don't worry, Satish. If you get into IFS, you don't straight away would deal with President Trump. Yes. Now, why is Sharm El-Sheikh in discussion? Why are we discussing Sharm El-Sheikh? Where is Sharm El-Sheikh here? Which is this part of the world called? What is the name of this part of the world? This part? There is a specific name called as Sinai Peninsula. Good. For many years, this peninsula was under illegal control of Israel after 1967 war. Now this belongs to Egypt. Is this home to any important navigate or any important waterway? What is it called? Suez Canal. Suez Canal is basically here. This is Suez Canal. Right? So this is basically an island, this is a coastal city known for its resorts. And in one of these resorts, the peace summit happened. You know, Sharm El-Sheikh was also in news in 2009 due to India and Pakistan. Any idea why it was in news back in 2009? So future IFS officers, please pay close attention to what I'm going to say right now. Okay? Now there was a summit in Sharm El-Sheikh when India's Prime Minister back then, Dr. Manmohan Singh, had a bilateral meeting with then Pakistani Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani. And after that meeting, both of these countries gave away their respective statements. So what we'll do now is we'll read the statements given by the India's Foreign Ministry. I've taken the statement from the website itself. So see, which is this website called? Ministry of External Affairs own website. Joint statement, Prime Minister of India Dr. Manmohan Singh and the Prime Minister of Pakistan Syed Yusuf Raza Gilani. When this happened? 2009. Now pay close attention to what I'm going to ask you. Do you think there is a problem in this line? Can anyone tell me what is the problem with this line? What I've circled upon? What is India's official stance on terrorism? India's official stand on terrorism is that India is a victim and Pakistan is the perpetrator. That terrorists in Pakistan who are nurtured by armed forces of Pakistan, they conduct terrorist activities in India and kill innocent civilians and members of our armed forces. So this is first problematic line. And who do you think drafted this line? Any idea? Not Pakistani PM. IFS officers. So will you commit the same mistake if you become IFS officers? Remember this. Do you think this is a very big mistake on India's part to have agreed upon this statement? If you think this is the biggest mistake in this statement, incorrect. I will tell you something more damaging. Read this line. What does this line mean? Any problem with this line? It says two countries will share real-time, credible and actionable information with each other. So when terrorist activities happened in India, Pakistan used to say that no, we did not committed this terrorist activity. So India provided them with information that see, you are responsible. Now the statement says both of these countries would provide information to each other. What does it say? That India might also promote terrorist activities in Pakistan. And read next line. What does this line say? What does it mean? This line mean? This particular line. Pakistan used this line to say that it was RAW which is creating Balochistan insurgency. And yes, let Pakistan claim whatever it wants. But this is our statement. This is statement of Ministry of External Affairs. Who drafted it? IFS officers. Why it was signed by India? Big question. Now read this line. Both prime ministers recognize that dialogue is the only way forward. Okay, let us imagine this is right. And now read what it is saying. Actions on terrorism should not be linked to composite dialogue process and these should not be bracketed. What does it say? That terrorism and dialogue are two separate things. This can happen at the same time, this can also happen. what is India's position right now? Tell me. Since all of you are studying current affairs, what is India's position right now? Yes, India says that if you have to talk to us, you'll have to put an end to terrorism. If you continue terrorism, we won't talk to you for anything. We have even excluded the conversations related to Indus Water Treaty. First stop terrorism, then we'll deal with any other things. So now you know what you'll have to do. Will you do this when you become an IFS officer? So just Google Dr. Manmohan Singh and Sharm El-Sheikh, you'll find many articles. But this is the best way I could tell you. I just showed you the exact statements. So many of you might say that yes, they are misreporting it. Some media organization is anti-government. They might be misreporting it, but I've taken the exact statement from the website only. See how wrong it was. This was one of the biggest blunders created by UPA government internationally. It jeopardized our decadal position on terrorism in Pakistan. It created a parity between India and Pakistan. Both of them are victims of terrorism. How is it possible? Any doubts? That is why Sharm El-Sheikh. So when I read the article on Sharm El-Sheikh, I straight away remembered this. So we'll meet again tomorrow, same time, 4:30. So now you know what you don't have to do if you become an IFS officer. And the interview that I took few days before with a retired IPS, Navneet Sir, he told me one thing. For any bureaucrat, be it IFS, IAS, IPS, you'll have to remember one thing. For you, public interest is primary and national interest is primary. So for you, self-interest is here, community's interest is here, public interest is here, and here is national interest. Everything else is secondary after national interest. And every one of you, irrespective of the states you might come from, you belong to just one country. That is called as yes, good Sunanda. So we'll see each other again tomorrow. Now you can understand na Veera Pandian. I hope you can understand everything. Okay, so bye bye everyone. Have a great evening.